Welcome, gentle listener, to a quiet moment, a tranquil journey into the hidden wonders of our world. As you settle in, allowing your body to soften and your breath to deepen, let your mind become a calm vessel, ready to float upon a soothing narrative. Tonight we will drift into the mysterious depths of the ocean, where a creature of astonishing beauty and profound intelligence makes its home. It is an animal so remarkably different from us, yet so intricately connected to the grand tapestry of life on Earth, that studying it can feel like gazing upon a distant, benevolent star. We speak, of course, of the octopus. Imagine, if you will, a creature that seems almost to defy the familiar boundaries of life as we know it. In many ways, the octopus is as close to encountering an alien life form as we may ever come, right here on our own planet. Few beings in the vast oceans are as utterly remarkable as elegantly bizarre. They belong to a fascinating class of animals known as cephalopods, and within this group, they stand out as among the most intelligent and certainly the most mobile of all invertebrates. They grace every ocean on our planet, finding comfort in the abyssal depths, swaying gently within the emerald fronds of kelp forests, nestled amongst the vibrant hues of coral reefs, and quietly navigating along rocky shorelines. Their diversity is as rich and varied as the countless habitats they call home. Some species are truly immense, stretching out with a quiet majesty, while others are so utterly tiny, they could almost rest unnoticed on your fingertip. Some carry a subtle venom, a whisper of defense, while others are simply, delightfully strange in their very being. Consider this for a moment. In any given instant, an octopus can transform its appearance, shifting from a spiky, textured form to one that is utterly smooth, as if melting into its surroundings. This ability to reshape its very essence is but a prelude to its deeper wonders. One of the most astonishing aspects of these incredible creatures is how profoundly different their internal world is from ours. The majority of their half-billion neurons, that intricate web of thought and sensation, are not concentrated solely in their central brain, as ours are. Instead, they are distributed throughout their 8 remarkable arms. These arms, these wondrous appendages, can taste, they can smell, and in a way that continues to baffle and enchant scientists, they can even think independently. Their cognitive abilities are so profound, so deeply developed, that they rival those of many large-brained vertebrates, creatures far closer to us on the evolutionary tree. This astonishing parallel evolution, this emergence of such complex behaviors in an entirely novel and independent manner from our own, leaves scientists in quiet awe. It prompts us to wonder, how did the octopus become so biologically complicated, an island of intricate complexity in the vast swirling sea of invertebrate animals? How truly intelligent are they, and what gentle lessons might studying them reveal about the very nature of our own minds, our own consciousness, as we drift into the quiet contemplation of sleep? Let us journey back in time, allowing our minds to float gently through the vast stretches of Earth's history. Cephalopods, these ancient mariners, have graced our planet for an astonishingly long time. Fossil records, like whispers from the deep past, reveal that they began their evolutionary journey over 500 million years ago. This was long, long before the first fish ever swam, before any reptiles stirred on land, and certainly before the earliest mammals took their first breath. The very early ancestor of the octopus, a creature that lived in those ancient seas, was quite small, and unlike its modern soft-bodied descendant, it possessed a protective shell which it used as a sturdy refuge as it humbly crawled along the ocean bottom. Cephalopods, after all, are members of the mollusk phylum, a group of creatures that we often associate with a more sedate pace of life, often simple in form, with soft bodies encased in a hard, protective shell, much like the familiar snails, clams, and oysters we might find along a quiet beach. But then, around 140 million years ago, a pivotal transformation occurred within the lineage that would eventually give rise to the octopus we know today. These particular ancestors began to lose their shells, a change that at first glance might seem like a great risk. This shedding of their protective armor made them incredibly nimble, wonderfully agile creatures, capable of fluid, graceful movement through the water. Yet in this very process, it also rendered them rather vulnerable. Their soft, unprotected bodies became exposed in a sea teeming with dangerous, hungry predators. It would seem, almost impossibly, that the survival of these soft-bodied beings for so many millions of years in such a challenging environment might be unlikely. But perhaps this very vulnerability, this intense selective pressure from an ocean full of hunters, was precisely the crucible that forged the remarkable creature we now observe. It may be that this very challenge allowed the octopus to evolve into the astonishing, ingenious being it is today. Because an octopus possesses almost no hard parts at all, save for its surprisingly strong, parrot-like beak. It holds an extraordinary power. It can squeeze its entire body through any opening, any tiny crevice, any narrow gap, as long as that space is larger than its single wondrous eyeball. This remarkable flexibility grants the octopus an invaluable advantage, the ability to vanish into the smallest of hideaways, an almost magical vanishing act from the hungry gaze of larger predators, like swift sharks or intelligent dolphins. It is a simple yet profound evolutionary advantage, a quiet triumph of form. But the soft-bodied octopus, in its ancient wisdom, evolved an even more clever, more breathtaking way of evading detection. They are, quite simply, masters of disguise, living artists of transformation. Imagine, if you will, a subtle shift in color, a ripple across the skin that is almost too quick for the eye to follow. You can witness just how rapidly, how dramatically, an octopus can alter its very appearance. It's a breathtaking ballet of biology. If we were to slow down time, to reverse the flow of moments, you would see the color change spread across its body like a soft wave, a gentle whisper of transformation. Not only does the hue shift, but the very three-dimensional texture of its skin also changes, rising and falling, mimicking the surrounding seaweed or the textured surface of a coral. In the mere blink of an eye, an almost imperceptible moment, it has blended in so completely that it seems to disappear, becoming one with its surroundings. Cephalopod camouflage is widely regarded as among the most dynamic, the most exquisitely responsive in the entire animal kingdom. It relies on an intricate system of extremely sophisticated tissues, a living palette of remarkable complexity. At the forefront of this display are organs called chromatophores. Imagine these as tiny living freckles, speckled delicately across the octopus's skin. Each one contains a minute, pigment-filled sac, much like a minuscule balloon holding a vibrant dye. These dyes come in a palette of primary colors: deep black, rich red, or sunny golden yellow. Surrounding these delicate pigment sacs are fine, radial muscles, like the gentle spokes of a wheel. With an almost imperceptible intention, these muscles can stretch the sac, ever so slightly, allowing the hidden pigment to unfurl and reveal its brilliant hue. Just like those tiny balloons full of dye, when stretched, their pigment color appears bright and vibrant, radiating with life. Depending on which sets of these sacs an octopus chooses to open or to close, it can instantaneously produce an astonishing array of patterns, elegant bands, bold stripes, or scattered spots. This allows it to transform itself, in an instant, into the semblance of a rough rock, a textured coral, or a swaying frond of kelp. It is a dance of illusion, performed with effortless grace. Yet, if the octopus needs to create colors beyond the foundational black, red, and yellow, It possesses another wondrous layer of reflective structures embedded within its skin. These are called iridophores. They are composed of stacks of incredibly thin iridescent cells nestled just beneath the chromatophores. These cells contain a special protein known as reflectin, which has the magical property of bouncing specific wavelengths of light back out, creating a shimmering, almost ethereal effect. They are responsible for the metallic blues and greens that seem to glimmer and ripple across the octopus's skin, like sunlight on deep water. And beneath this layer, adding yet another dimension to its living tapestry, is another reflective tissue, equally marvelous, called leucophores. These reflect the ambient light from their environment, typically producing soft, luminous white hues. By combining the precise reflections from the iridophores and leucophores with the expertly patterned display of the chromatophores, the octopus can weave a truly convincing copy of its surroundings, a breathtaking masterpiece of natural mimicry. But the octopus, in its boundless ingenuity, holds one more exquisite trick, a final flourish that allows it to disappear in plain sight, almost completely. This involves structures called papillae. These are tiny specialized muscles that enable the octopus to literally change the texture of its skin. It can create subtle ridges, gentle bumps, or soft undulating mounds that rise and fall across its surface. This ingenious ability helps the octopus to match its surroundings even more perfectly, adding a tactile dimension to its visual deception. With all these tools, the shimmering iridophores, the soft white leucophores, the pigment-rich chromatophores, and the texture-shifting papillae, the shell-free, soft-bodied octopus has not only been able to survive, but to thrive, subtly deceiving an entire ocean full of hungry predators for countless millions of years. It is a testament to nature's boundless creativity, a silent, ongoing saga of survival. However, their continued existence has not hinged solely on these remarkable camouflage properties. It is the way these intricate systems are controlled, the quiet intelligence behind the transformations, that is perhaps an even more compelling, more profound survival tool. Imagine for a moment an octopus gracefully navigating along the sea floor. With every gentle movement, with every subtle shift in its environment, it must continuously assess the background, constantly modifying its camouflage, adjusting its living cloak to remain perfectly unseen. They are making these intricate decisions at an astonishingly rapid pace. One researcher, observing an octopus with a quiet, patient eye, recorded it changing its camouflage an incredible 177 times within a single hour. This is a breathtaking feat of biological agility. The camouflage reaction times of octopuses are faster than almost any other animal known, occurring in as little as 200 milliseconds. That's as fast as the quickest blink you could possibly make. It's an instantaneous, fluid response, a testament to its finely tuned nervous system. And here lies a beautiful paradox, a fascinating puzzle to gently ponder as you drift towards sleep. Despite performing so much with color, despite their breathtaking displays of vibrant hues and intricate patterns, the octopus, along with almost all cephalopods, is surprisingly thought to be colorblind. How then can they match colors they cannot even perceive with their eyes? This question, a tantalizing mystery, began to slowly unravel in 2015 as researchers made a quiet, profound discovery. They found that the skin of an octopus is in itself sensitive to light. This is due to the presence of photoreceptor genes actively working within the skin itself. Remarkably, even when a piece of skin was carefully detached from the body, it could still respond to light and gently alter the shape of its chromatophores. Scientists began to realize, with a sense of quiet wonder, that an octopus can, in a very real sense, see not only with its eyes but also with its very skin. It's a form of perception that expands our understanding of what it means to truly see the world. As the octopus body was evolving its incredible color-changing defense mechanisms, after it lost its protective shell 140 million years ago, another profound transformation was quietly unfolding. This was the development of its surprisingly large brain and an incredibly complex nervous system. The photoreceptor genes in the skin, these tiny light-sensing wonders, work in deep connection with the octopus's elaborate and powerful brain. The octopus is capable of changing colors with such astonishing speed precisely because its chromatophores are controlled neurally, directly by its nervous system. Other animals that can change color, such as the familiar chameleon for instance, take much longer, their color changes being hormonally controlled. Hormones, those subtle chemical messengers, take time to enter the bloodstream and distribute themselves throughout the body. A color change controlled in this way can take over 20 seconds to complete, a veritable eternity compared to the octopus's instantaneous shifts. Some researchers believe that for the octopus, this rapid, fluid color change may be akin to how we breathe or blink, something it can choose to do consciously, but also something that can happen involuntarily, as a natural, seamless part of its being. It possesses awareness from its eyes and its central brain, yes, but also, quite remarkably, throughout its entire body. The octopus nervous system is vast, much like our own in its sheer complexity, yet it is built with a fundamentally different, beautifully integrated relationship between its body and its central brain. The common octopus, for instance, possesses around 500 million neurons within its intricate body. For a gentle comparison, humans have roughly 100 billion. Most invertebrates, by contrast, usually have far fewer neurons. A simple snail, for instance, might have only 20,000, but cephalopods, like our wondrous octopus, register in the same impressive range as many vertebrates, creatures we consider highly intelligent, like cats, dogs, and parrots. They possess more neurons than any other invertebrate, a truly exceptional feat of evolution, and of their 500 million neurons, only about a third are actually found in their central brain. The vast majority, that astonishing distribution of neural power, resides within their 8 highly capable arms. As strange and captivating as this may sound to us, this unique arrangement allows the octopus to, in a very real sense, think with its arms. For a long time, scientists have been quietly aware that a severed octopus arm can still respond to stimuli, even up to an hour after being separated from the central brain. It's a testament to the distributed intelligence within each limb. But a fascinating paper published just last year began to gently reveal the true extent of this autonomy. Using sophisticated video modeling, researchers observed the octopus as it explored various objects within its tank and diligently searched for food. The program carefully quantified the movements of the arms, tracking how they worked together, sometimes in perfect synchrony, suggesting guidance and direction from the central brain, and other times asynchronously, hinting at independent decision-making occurring within each individual appendage. And what they discovered was truly remarkable. In the subtle flow of information from the environment to the octopus, some data completely bypasses the central brain. The suckers on the arms, those sensitive, grasping discs, can in a way think for themselves. This extraordinary capability allows the octopus to analyze its immediate environment with extreme swiftness and react with matching speed, a truly decentralized network of perception and action. Along with skin that can perceive light and change color all on its own, the relationship between brain and body in the octopus is wonderfully fluid, full of blurred lines, a biological symphony, where individual instruments play their own tunes while contributing to the whole. And on top of this truly unusual neural layout, this strange and wondrous body autonomy, cephalopods are, without question, profoundly smart, extremely smart. And this, perhaps more than anything else, is what truly confers upon the octopus its almost alien-like status. They are so incredibly far from any other form of intelligent life on the great tree of evolution, yet their raw cognitive ability, their sheer problem-solving prowess, allows them to compete effortlessly with vertebrates. It's as if evolution, in its infinite creativity, invented intelligent life, not just once, but twice, following two entirely different, independent pathways. Let us gently visualize the evolutionary tree of life, that vast, branching diagram of all living things. We as humans sit upon the branch of mammals. Nearby, sharing our general evolutionary trajectory, are the fish, the reptiles, the birds and the amphibians, all fellow members of the larger classification known as vertebrates. This particular group, our own branch, is where we typically encounter all the intelligent life we commonly think of. Humans, of course, our primate relatives, and the beloved dogs, cats, dolphins, and some birds. When we trace the lineages of these intelligent animals back through the mists of time to find our common ancestor, it was likely a creature that resembled a lizard, stirring to life around 320 million years ago. Like us, this ancient animal would have possessed a backbone, 4 limbs, a distinct head, and a supportive skeleton. It would have walked the ancient lands well adapted to its terrestrial existence, and already harbored a well-developed central nervous system. But to discover the point where our lineage diverged from that of the octopus, we must journey much, much further down the ancient branches of this tree, back to a time around 600 million years ago. The creature we find there, the last common ancestor, is a simple flatworm. It possessed an extremely basic nervous system, merely a rudimentary network of nerves, and absolutely no inklings of what we would consider intelligence in the modern sense. As the evolutionary tree continued to branch and diverge, intelligence, that wondrous spark of cognition, blossomed independently, first on our branch of vertebrates, and then completely separately in the cephalopods. And with the cephalopods evolving even before any of the intelligent vertebrates, it is highly probable that they were the very first truly intelligent animals to appear on our Earth. A silent, profound testament to life's endless capacity for ingenuity. But what truly is intelligence? How can we accurately identify, or even gently measure, such a complex phenomenon in an animal so utterly different from ourselves? In humans, intelligence is commonly defined as a multifaceted ability, the capacity to think abstractly, to deeply understand, to communicate effectively, to solve problems with creativity, to learn new things, to form lasting memories, and to plan future actions with foresight. This intricate blend of abilities is usually measured by standardized intelligence tests, which often yield a numerical value. But of course, we cannot administer a standardized test to an octopus. We can only observe their behaviors, watch their quiet actions, and infer the richness of their inner lives. Why the cephalopods, then, among all the mollusks? Well, they are, beyond question, the most captivating mollusks in terms of their behaviors, their intricate interactions with the world. To delve deeper into the astonishing depth of octopus intelligence, as researchers currently understand it, one might seek the insights of experts like Jennifer Mather, a respected professor in the Department of Psychology at the University of Lethbridge, and a scientific advisor for the profoundly moving film, My Octopus Teacher. Professor Mather, with her gentle wisdom, shares that pretty well every learning task you present to an octopus, they are capable of performing. They demonstrate clear evidence of short-term memory, long-term memory, impressive spatial memory, and acute object perception. It's truly a marvel. But as she wisely points out, it is more than just learning. They also engage in planning, and planning in creatures so alien to us is not always so obvious to discern. One of the most famous and captivating examples of this planning ability is what has been affectionately called the coconut-carrying octopus. Imagine an octopus setting out on a journey to a location where there is simply no natural shelter to be found. And what does this ingenious creature do? It carefully carries with it two halves of a discarded coconut shell. When it wishes to pause, to rest, or to find temporary refuge, it brings these coconut halves together, transforming them into a makeshift, portable shelter. It's as if they are surrounded by their own mobile fortress. It is, truly, an amazing display of foresight. Some scientists gently argue that this extraordinary behavior represents a rare example of composite tool use, a complex behavior previously thought to exist almost exclusively in humans, some of our primate relatives, and certain species of birds. And it may indeed be compelling evidence of complex intelligence for two profound reasons. First, this careful, deliberate tool use might represent a truly innovative behavioral strategy, allowing octopuses to protect themselves in environments where they otherwise would have no natural place to hide. Second, and perhaps even more remarkably, because these coconut shells are transported with considerable effort, explicitly to meet future needs, this behavior might strongly indicate an octopus's profound ability to plan. The octopus in these quiet moments has to imagine the future, to connect the subtle dots between past events, its current actions, and the unfolding events yet to come, which is by no means a simple task for any living being. Octopuses also perform exceptionally well in memory tests, demonstrating an acute ability to differentiate between different people, even when those individuals are wearing identical outfits. Their keen observational skills are truly impressive. And in a study conducted by Professor Mather, the common octopus was also shown to be profoundly wonderfully playful. She would describe them as being extremely exploratory, sort of like a 5-year-old kid, taking stuff apart, going off and feeling around with the landscape, just grabbing more information. This description evokes a sense of innocent curiosity, a deep engagement with the world around them. Play in the animal kingdom is often defined as a behavior that is not strictly necessary for immediate survival, performed on purpose, but seemingly for the sheer joy or pleasure it brings. The action is frequently repeated, often exaggerated, and almost always carried out when the animal is adequately fed, healthy, and not under any discernible stress. Researchers, recognizing this, theorized that the animals would be more inclined to play if they felt safe, and perhaps a little bit bored. So, they set up an experiment, placing octopuses in aquariums with a secure place to hide, but nothing else. Then they introduced a simple pill bottle, carefully weighted with just enough water so that it floated gently at the surface. Also present in the mix was a water intake pump for the aquarium, which the researchers hadn't necessarily intended to be part of the experiment's focal point. However, this pump created a subtle current that pushed the pill bottle across the top of the tank, a gentle, repetitive motion that sparked the keen curiosity of some of the octopuses. So we did this with 6 animals. Professor Mather recounts, in 2 cases, the pill bottle came across like this, she explains, describing the slow, deliberate movement. The octopus then shot a jet of water at it, which meant that it went back towards the water intake, and it came back again. If an octopus were to do this just once, or even twice, it wouldn't be considered experimentally significant. But a few of these creatures carried out this intriguing behavior so many times, with such consistent, playful repetition, that it simply could not be ignored. One of them did this, I think it was 14 times, she marvels, and one of them did it 21 times. It was, in essence, the marine equivalent of bouncing a ball, a clear act of playful engagement, a profound revelation of their inner world. In most species, play, in addition to helping establish fine motor coordination, is largely understood to serve social purposes, for establishing hierarchy or rank, for learning intricate social rules, or for forging strong social bonds within a group. And due to its inherent complexity, play is generally considered to be almost exclusive to mammals, with only a few rare exceptions among other vertebrates, such as certain birds. But here lies another fascinating divergence. The octopus is, by its very nature, a solitary creature. It forms no complex social bonds, adheres to no intricate social hierarchy. This remarkable observation compels us to gently rethink the very evolutionary reasons behind play itself. In fact, much of our existing understanding of intelligence is deeply rooted in the idea that it evolved primarily out of a social need. For decades, scientists have quietly pondered the mysterious origins of intelligence, striving to comprehend why certain animals developed such profound cognitive abilities while others did not. The social intelligence hypothesis is often the favored explanation for the evolution of complex cognition. It posits that intelligence in many species evolved precisely due to the intricate demands of group living, the necessity of maintaining complex and enduring social bonds, the subtle art of deception, the quiet cooperation within a group, or the profound ability of social learning. When most of the animals we instinctively think of as smart, humans, our primate relatives, dogs and dolphins, began living in groups, there emerged a compelling need for more intricate, more nuanced behaviors, and consequently for larger, more complex brains to manage these interactions. But this widely accepted theory, as profound as it is, simply cannot explain why intelligence blossomed so spectacularly in cephalopods. For these profoundly non-social creatures, a different, perhaps equally profound, theory must exist. You see, Professor Mather explains, her voice gentle, our big problem with knowing the development of intelligence is that we know it from the mammals, from the primates, our relatives. So we know that this particular set of conditions sets us up for being intelligent. But then if we have another model, the octopus, then we have to say, okay, these conditions being part of a social group, they're not necessary for intelligence. This opens up a quiet, vast realm of possibility. Perhaps the unrelenting pressures of finding sustenance, of skillfully evading predation, were themselves enough for intelligence to blossom, to unfurl its complex petals. This profound idea forms the very basis for the ecological intelligence hypothesis, which gently suggests that complex cognition evolved specifically to meet the myriad challenges associated with predation, with foraging for food, in complex environments, and with the subtle, intricate pressures of competition. And when the octopus lineage lost its protective shell 140 million years ago, perhaps the pressure of predation was so exceptionally high, so constant and profound, that outsmarting their attackers, outmaneuvering them with wits and cunning, became the sole pathway, the only way, for this soft-bodied wonder to survive and thrive. These two theories, the social and the ecological intelligence hypotheses, are not necessarily competing explanations. Rather, they are like two different windows into the same magnificent edifice of life, offering two distinct yet complementary explanations for two separate profound instances of intelligence arising independently on the grand tree of life. The octopus, in its quiet, mesmerizing existence, offers us a truly rare and invaluable chance to investigate an alternate intelligence, a truly alien-like life form, here on our own planet Earth. Where we once, in our human-centric view, believed there was only one primary model for the evolution of complex intelligence, we now understand, with a sense of quiet awe, that there are at least two. And who can truly say how many more there could be, waiting to be discovered, here on this Earth, or perhaps far, far beyond, among the distant stars. But despite the immense evolutionary distance that separates us, despite the countless eons and branching pathways, The octopus still lives and thrives within the same grand experiment as we do. It shares this magnificent planet, these vast swirling oceans, and the ceaselessly turning wheels of evolution have crafted us both, albeit in wonderfully different forms. They are not so much alien then, as they are a distant relative, a fellow traveler on this remarkable journey of life. And by gently stepping aside from our often human-centric view of what intelligence truly means, can we begin, with open hearts and minds, to clearly perceive the infinite possibilities of cognition, the boundless ways in which life can think, feel, and experience the world around it. The story of the modern octopus, this quiet marvel, began so very long ago, in a time when there was no life yet stirring on the land, no footsteps echoing across ancient continents. But around this time, roughly 500 million years ago, the oceans, those cradles of life, had begun to explode with an astonishing abundance. This geological period, known as the Ordovician, was a time renowned for its truly amazing diversity of invertebrates. And among these flourishing invertebrates, the massive, armored cephalopods, ancient ancestors of our modern octopus, were truly kings. They dominated the seas, powerful and majestic, for an incredible span of roughly 360 million years. The fossil records from this ancient era show a breathtaking array of creatures, some that we recognize as distant kin, and many that are so utterly alien to our modern eyes that they spark the imagination. Life was thriving, growing, diversifying, until something, a profound shift, nearly brought it all to a halt, stopping almost every living thing in its tracks. It was a time of immense change, a moment that forged the very path of life on Earth. As you continue to relax, allowing your body to sink deeper into comfort, let your thoughts gently drift to these ancient oceans, to the beginnings of life on our planet, to the vastness of time and the incredible resilience of nature. There is so much more to discover, so much more to quietly ponder in the grand tapestry of existence. As you settle into this peaceful stillness, remember the quiet wisdom of the deep, the enduring strength of ancient life, and the gentle rhythm of the tides. Let these soothing thoughts carry you softly, effortlessly, into the tranquil embrace of sleep. May your dreams be as vast and as calm as the deepest ocean, filled with the quiet wonder of all that is. Rest now, peacefully, deeply. Good night.